Hello everybody and welcome to the third and final day of our press conferences here in Bahrain. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Liam Lawson, Oscar Piastri and Yuki Tsunoda. Lewis Hamilton will be joining us shortly and Fernando Alonso is unable to make it because of the change in the driver schedule down at Aston Martin. So Liam, I'll come to you first. Your testing's done and dusted after the run in the car yesterday. How are you feeling about heading to Australia now with all that prep under your belt?
Good. As good as I can be, obviously. Going to Melbourne, it's a track that I haven't driven at, so it's going to be a tough weekend to obviously learn, adapt as quickly as possible, but that's really how most of my races in F1 have been so far anyway. So, yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, these are very valuable days. To have Max in today as well to finish off our testing plan is very important. So, obviously, we'll try and take as much as we can from it to start the season.
Great stuff. Thanks, Liam.
Thank you.
Oscar, just coming to you. Got one more afternoon in the car. The McLarens look good so far. Yep, just about got it. We like to make it tricky for you. Got one more afternoon in the car. McLaren's looked good. What are your kind of ambitions for that session and then for the season ahead?
I think just find out a bit more about the car. Obviously, the rain yesterday morning meant I didn't do quite as many laps as I would have liked, but just get some more laps with the car, and try some more things. You know, that's what these 3 days are about, and seeing what works, what doesn't, and try and make it a bit faster. That's the plan.
Great stuff. Well, good luck with that, Oscar. Yuki, coming to you. I know it's been a bit of a bumpy test, maybe not as smooth as you'd like, but what kind of feeling have you got with this car? And does it feel like a step forwards?
No, I think our car is fast. I mean, productive days, I guess, a bit of a bumpy and, things didn't really go in the way that we wanted sometimes, but that's what the test's for, and I think it's good to have those issues now to prevent those issues in the future. So I think I'm really happy with that last 2 days actually, and looking forward for this afternoon.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Yuki. Lewis, welcome. It was really cool to hear that you were starting to bond with your new car, the Ferrari, yesterday when you were talking in your press conference yesterday. Got one more session to go, but when that's done and dusted, how are you feeling about that first race for Ferrari and how prepared do you feel?
Well, I'm sorry I'm late. Need a second to get my breath back, but it's good to be back. It's hard to believe it's the last day of testing. It's kind of crazy. It's so short for everyone, but this is a really vital few days that you get in the car, and we're just focusing on doing the best job we can with what we have and understanding the package we have, and obviously for me, I'm learning more and more of how the team likes to work, and making small tweaks here and there to improve my efficiency and the efficiency of how we work together. So it's been really positive.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Lewis. Right, that's enough for me. If you'd like to ask a question, raise your hand, and can I have your name and publication, please?
Alex Kalinauckas, Autosport. Question to Lewis, please. Lewis, how have you found driving Ferrari Formula One cars? You've sampled a few of them from recent years in the recent weeks. Just wondered, what can you tell us about your perception of how these famous red machines are really built and how they're responding to your driving? Thank you.
Well, firstly, they're very well built, and massively different in characteristics. But that's been rather than just jump into a different car to this car and having it exactly the same, it's been refreshing to have something different, to learn different ways in which you have to drive the car, different requirements to how you approach corners. The engine has a different tone, a different feel, different drivability, and I've been driving Mercedes for so long, which was such a great power unit. And it's great to see that Ferrari also have a great power unit, and it's something that I'm, again, spending time with the engineers from the engine department and learning of how the process that they take for reliability and power. That's a process in itself, but so far it's been really great.
Thanks, Lewis. Next one, please.
Christian Mehnert, motorsportmagazin.com. Another one for you, Lewis, surprisingly. You've never been a big fan of testing in your life. Now you look pretty happy, but is it the first time in your career that you would like to have more days of testing?
No. I still am not a fan of testing, but I've really enjoyed the testing that I've had this year. I mean, I'm super grateful for the TPC testing that I got to do, and fortunately, that's if I only had this day and a half, I definitely wouldn't be in the position I'm in now in terms of how comfortable I feel with the car. There's still some ways to go, but yeah. No, at this point, I'm excited to get racing.
Thanks, Lewis. Next one, please.
Scott Mitchell from The Race. A question to Lewis and Liam. I appreciate you're coming at it from two different positions, but in terms of adjusting to your new cars and getting the most out of them, how close do you feel to the limit, given that it is only testing? How much is there to come from the car, and how much is there to come from you guys just feeling absolutely comfortable and getting that last tenth or two out of it?
Liam, do you want to take that one first?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the car feels quite good so far, and I'm getting more comfortable. But obviously, you can always use more days, to be honest. So, yeah, I think no matter what, it's going to be, for me, it's going to be more of a track learning thing, especially starting the season. Obviously, it's a new team and a new car, but the first couple of races, I've never been there, so it's going to be learning the tracks probably more than anything. So obviously, fortunately, I have Max on the other side of the garage, who will be doing a lot with the car. Whereas I think our side is going to be spent as much time on building me up on tracks and as well as adapting to the car.
Lewis?
Yeah, for me, what was the question again? Is about the adapting to the car?
Yeah, adapting to the car, yeah. With the test days that you've got. But yeah, if you want to, with the test days that you've got, how you found adapting to the car?
No, I still feel there's plenty to come. And there's still quite a bit to come. But as I said, fortunately, I've got to drive the 23 car, so I've really been able to compare to the 24 and the 23 car and see where they've progressed. The problems they had on those two cars and how they've improved into this one. Obviously, I didn't get to do the test at the end of the year, so for me, started relatively late compared to others that have come before me. Like, Sebastian was here, I think, started in November, so he had a good 2 months. As where for me, it's been this month period that I've had. So a lot has been crammed in that time. But no, I personally, I'd like to just jump in the deep end and figure it out, and that's what we're doing. But of course, we're going through the processes and trying to really, I feel like in this period of time, we've built a really good foundation. But everyone, these guys out there look really, really quick, really competitive. It looks very, very close. We won't know, obviously, till next week truly exactly where we stand, but we know that we've got work to do. And everyone's just heads down, and I've been really inspired and really encouraged by my colleagues, just how focused everybody is and how hardworking everyone is, and getting to know everyone in the garage, the night shift crew, just how their processes and how they like to work. It just takes time.
Thanks, Lewis. Next one, please.
Giles Richards, The Guardian. Question for you, Lewis, again. You've said in recent years that your first impression of a car gave you an idea of how it would be that year, and obviously in recent years that first impression wasn't very good. I mean, I was just wondering what your gut feeling about this Ferrari is for the forthcoming year.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the last four years or so, I've learned that you really can't judge take too much from the first outlook. I mean, for me, I definitely think in past years before that, particularly in the previous generation of car, it was much easier, I think, to know where you stood quite early on, with that early feeling. I mean, I would say this is the most positive feeling that I've had in a long time. that's all I can really say for now.
Thanks, Lewis. I'd kind of like to put that to the rest of you. Like, what's your gut feeling of your respective cars when you've had that chance? Yuki?
I wouldn't say. I think we're gonna have like competitive performance as much as I had first half of the season last year. So I think it'll be a little bit trickier to fight against I would say top 10 to score points. It will be very, very tight. So I wouldn't say like still I think there's a bit of step forward, but not enough compared to what we want so far.
Thanks. And Oscar, what's your gut feeling with the McLaren this year?
It's been a bit up and down, I would say. I think some of the runs have looked very strong. Others have been a bit trickier. So again, it's so hard to know, and I'm expecting it to be pretty tight once we get to Melbourne next week. But yeah, it felt decent. It felt pretty similar to last year, but you just never know. I think with this generation of car, it's never going to feel as good as you ever want it to. It's just whether that's better than everyone else.
Liam, I know you've had less time in the Red Bull, but still, what's your gut feeling?
Yeah, I mean, these guys obviously set it well with this generation of car. I think also at the end of a regulation period, everybody's really maximizing where the car's at, and they've obviously learned a lot over the last couple of years. So I think it's going to be tight. It was very, very tight last year, especially towards the end. So I would expect it to be very, very close. But obviously we'll find out, and we probably won't truly find out until qualifying in Melbourne.
Okay, sir. Thanks, Liam. Next one, please.
Ronald Vording, motorsport.com. It's a twofold question to Liam, please. First of all, on the adapting, what have been the most difficult aspects so far to adapt to? Is that more the philosophy of the Red Bull car or the operational side of things, which might be different from Racing Bulls? And secondly, Pierre Wache, the technical director, said that the feedback you and Max are giving so far is quite similar. Do you have the same feeling that you want the same things from the car?
I think so. That's generally been how it's been so far. I think, fortunately, I spent quite a few years just in the background with Red Bull. I spent more time with Red Bull as reserve than I actually did with VCarb in those early years. So I got to sit in the background, watch obviously how Max worked, watch how the team worked. So I had a sort of a good understanding of that side of it from the team, but just didn't drive the car so much. So for sure that the biggest thing is adapting to the car, and so far we feel in a comfortable place. So, yeah, it's tricky to say, but I think on the feedback side, I mean, I think we're all meant to be professionals and meant to be able to drive what we're given at the best, regardless of what that sort of balance is. So, we're just trying to give accurate feedback on what we're feeling, and that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. And I think so far it aligns, pretty well.
Great stuff. Thanks, Liam. Next one, please.
Luke Smith from The Athletic. Lewis, obviously a lot of the appeal about Ferrari was the romanticism around the team and the myth of racing for Ferrari. In your first few weeks, how has that lived up to your expectations? Has it gone way beyond what you're expecting in terms of the magic of Ferrari so far?
It definitely has, yeah. I think it's one thing seeing it from outside, but then when you're actually in it, it's pretty extreme. It's pretty incredible. Just from seeing, speaking to the whole team, seeing the whole team at the factory all in one space, for example, and just seeing how passionate and excited everyone, walking around all the different departments, and people who just live and breathe Ferrari. It's what you grow up dreaming of getting to work at. In those smaller places, towns in Italy, where they've grown up dreaming of one day being there. So that how proud they are to work there, and how much pride they take in their work is really beautiful to see. And then it's the Tifosi, which you just can't. You can see. I could see it obviously watching the previous Charles and Carlos over the years, and with Sebastian. But to be on the receiving end of it, it's a new experience that I couldn't have imagined exactly.
Thanks, Lewis. Next one, please.
Tom Carey, Telegraph. Hey, Lewis, it's another one for you, sorry. Just going to ask you about the Time magazine interview. Obviously, incredible photo shoot. I was wondering how that came about. whose idea was that? Were you up for it initially? And also the message you wanted to get across in the interview, you were very punchy in terms of not listening to negativity from certain people, and just pressing on and being your own man. Just tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, I came up with the creative for that, so that was my idea to do this shoot, which is something I'm really proud of. It's my first, it's my first creative directed photo shoot, which I'm so happy with how it came out. So the other part, I actually haven't had a second to read the story, but I heard it's come out really well, and I think it's naturally in our sport. I think criticism is something that everyone receives. I think I've probably been on the received a lot more of it, perhaps, throughout my career, I'm just in the mindset. I just keep my head down, keep doing what I'm doing. I know that I'm growing each day. I know I'm bound to make mistakes. I'm only human. But one thing that I'm proud of is that I have the drive, I have the focus. I'm able to admit when I'm wrong, and I know that tomorrow I will work to be better. And it really doesn't matter to me what some of the comments that have come out over my career. It's not just been this past 12 months or so. I just use that as fuel.
Thanks, Lewis. Any more questions?
Scott Mitchell from The Race. Question to Lewis and Liam again. Yesterday, quite a few people in the paddock were quite impressed by the long run that Lando did in the McLaren in the afternoon. I just wondered, had you seen it? What did you make of it? And do you think that what we get this afternoon will be a little bit more relevant data-wise?
Well, obviously it's a lot hotter today, but the McLaren did a great run yesterday, and I think also Max did a decent one today, even with the temperatures. So again, it's hard to know what fuel loads everyone is running, as we're all doing our own programs. So you have to take everything with a pinch of salt. But they won the constructors last year. We expect them to be one of the quickest, if not the quickest, as with Red Bull, who dominated for many, many years. For us, we're just trying to improve on. I haven't even done the long run yet, so I'm about to do it this afternoon, and I'll get a bit of a better understanding of how this car behaves in a race stint. It's going to be my first race stint with the team, so I've only done short runs of like 10 laps. So it'll be interesting. We've definitely got some work to do to improve.
Thanks, Lewis. Liam?
Yeah, similar comments. I think obviously not a huge amount. Everyone's got new cars, but not a huge amount has changed. So we can probably expect, the performance, especially of McLaren last year, to probably start like that this year. So of course we see it. We're looking at everything. We're obviously just as focused on ourselves. For me, I'm obviously very focused on adapting. It's a lot of different things in the way that you actually drive this car. To be honest, that I'm learning. So we'll obviously be looking at everybody else, but at the same time, I've never been here when it's been this cold. I don't think anybody's been here when it's been this cold. So when we come here to race, I think it'll be also probably very different conditions.
Great stuff. Thanks, Liam. That's all we've got time for. Best of luck, guys, for the rest of the season. Thank you.